This is cozy. Hello, handpanners. I am at home again. I can't go to the studio because I have COVID. I'm about halfway through my quarantine and I'm feeling good. I'm very, very grateful, very blessed to have only had mild symptoms. But in this time and in this space, I've been playing a lot of handpan and reflecting a lot and spending a lot of time looking inward. And I've felt a shift in my playing and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about practice. So before we can talk about how we can enjoy practice, first we need to define it, because I have found that my definition has shifted a little bit over the last few days and it's kind of changed everything entirely. Maybe it's because I'm trapped in my house, or maybe this was going to happen anyway. I don't know, but I want to share it with you all because I'm really excited about it and I haven't talked to people for a long time. So, practice, as defined by Google: perform an activity, exercise or skill repeatedly or regularly in order to acquire, improve or maintain proficiency in it. So this is how I've always viewed practice. In the beginning I hated it, and then for a while I got really, really into practice, especially as I started making these videos and started teaching online a lot more. I got really, really into the process and I've been uploading these hour-long workout videos of just really getting into it and all the technical details, and I still love that. But again, I go through phases of that where I get really into practicing and then I overdo it and I burn out and I don't want to practice anymore. But for the last few days, I've been spending a lot of time on my own with not a lot of structure to the day, so I've been really making sure to give myself structure in my day. And part of that structure has been waking up, playing the handpan. Just first thing in the morning before my brain's really properly awake, where I'm still really feeling really, really chill from whatever I've been doing, to just play and not to think too hard about what it is that I'm playing. And some of the most beautiful sounds have been coming out of that. So this is where I want to share with you the second definition of practice, because I feel like this is more aligned with what I've been doing over the last few days. And that is, carry out or perform a particular activity, method or custom habitually or regularly. An example it provides is, we still practice some of these rituals today. Whatever it is that you do in your day, in every day or every week or whatever, that is routine, that is regular, that is habitual, that you do with purpose, is a practice. And that is where I'm at with the handpan right now. I don't pick up the handpan to practice in terms of performing an activity or exercise repeatedly to acquire a skill. I pick up the handpan to engage in the practice of playing handpan, as in carrying out or perform an activity or custom habitually or regularly. And the practice of playing handpan is a very beautiful one. And I'm really in the zone. And I'm finding so many new, beautiful, creative things. And because I'm in the practice, there is no sense of trying to reach a goal. There's no sense of trying to progress. And I think this is where practicing finds its negative connotations from, is this obsession that we have with progressing and growth and getting better, which I talked about a little bit in a previous video recently, is that we practice so that we can progress. And we measure progress kind of in the wrong way, I think. We measure progress in accordance with achievement. If you get to the end of the day and you can play a thing that you couldn't play before, you think, oh, I've progressed today. But actually what you mean is, oh, I achieved this piece of music today. I achieved being able to play this piece of music. So if you get to the end of the day and you don't achieve that, then naturally sometimes we don't think, oh, I've progressed today. But actually we have. Even though we haven't reached the achievement, the goal that we're looking for, just practicing is progress. And just having that habitual behavior and having that commitment and, you know, playing and playing and playing, it is progress. You do make those little micro progressions, I suppose, but we don't see it because we don't see the big achievement that we're after. And so in turn, practice can sometimes seem grueling and unexciting because, especially as we get better, we're learning more difficult things, so it takes longer to get to where we want to go, and so it can be a little bit disheartening sometimes. But if we approach it as the practice of playing handpan, and we let go of the ego, we let go of this idea of wanting to progress and wanting to get better and wanting to achieve and wanting to look good, and we just approach it as playing the handpan for myself, for the love, for the joy, for the routine and the regularity and the discipline, then through that you can find a lot more positive energy, I find. And it can be much more sustainable because you're doing it from the mindset of it being a habitual behavior, and it's not necessarily because you're striving to achieve something. It's a little bit like meditation, Buddhism, in the sense that if you meditate with the goal of trying to reach enlightenment, you're never going to reach enlightenment because the very act of striving for something is in itself a form of suffering, and enlightenment is all about ridding yourself of this suffering, right? So if you're trying to do it, you're not going to do it. So instead, you just enjoy and take part in the practice just for the sake of doing the practice and not for the sake of striving for other things. And that way you will always be happy with where you're at or content with where you're at. And then you get the added bonus of having those moments where you do reach the achievements and you play something really beautiful and stunning and you're really proud of yourself. And it feels even better because it hasn't been painful to get there. The whole process has been enjoyable. And that's not to say that practicing is bad. I don't think practicing is bad at all, and I love it. I get so in the zone and in the flow state sometimes when I'm practicing. I totally geek out about it, and I love that space. But for me personally, it's not sustainable, and I go through phases of that, and sometimes I don't want to practice anymore. But I know now that if I can approach it slightly differently and treat it as the practice and not overdo it, but just, you know, find those regular intervals, regular routines where I can approach the handpan, then who knows what's going to happen next, and who knows what kind of amazing things I'll find. And the beauty of it as well is that when you're in that space, you don't feel the desire to record. I mean, this is maybe more personal to me, but a lot of the time when I come up with something cool on the handpan, I immediately want to capture it and I record it so that I can remember it, and then I will be able to practice it, develop it, and make a video. Or if it's an exercise that I'm practicing, I will practice and practice and practice so that I can make a tutorial. And so everything that I do has become with purpose and with reason, and the purpose and reason is for other people. But approaching it this way, approaching it simply as the practice of playing handpan, that desire to film, that desire to develop what I play and create something from it has completely gone. And instead it's just really, really enjoyable and peaceful and beautiful, and personal and intimate as well. And who knows, you know, when I go back into routine and back into teaching and working again, maybe it will shift, or maybe that's the perfect time to really tune into the discipline and find a way to make sure that I'm always playing for me every day, no matter what. Even though there will be times when I have to create something for other people, that it's also for me. So, yeah. I had thoughts to share, so I thought I would share them. So that's my thoughts on practice versus the practice and progress, and how we can find the way to make all of it really enjoyable for all of us. But I would love to hear your thoughts too. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. I very much look forward to being back in the studio, and I'm feeling inspired again actually to film tutorials, coming at it from a different place. So yeah, thank you so much, wishing you a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next one.